Hello and welcome back. I'm Terry White with Design Your Life, the show that hopes to inspire you to customize and design your own life the way you live. Today we have a special guest. She's very special to me, but she goes by the moniker the Stone Muse. Her name is Vickie Vance, and she works for, by day, Rockstar Restoration, and they work on and restore natural stone. Today we're going to make a garden orb. You've seen them throughout the garden in previous episodes, some with moss growing on them and others just concrete orbs. We're going to make the lightweight ones that Vickie and I sort of merged our two techniques and came up with one to make a complete orb that's lightweight enough to move, but yet sturdy enough to last through time. I'm going to turn it over to Vickie now, and she's going to talk about the formula for the mix of the concrete.
So we're going to use a basic sand recipe, which is a ratio of 3 to 1. That's 3 parts sand to 1 part cement. And the difference is we're not going to use all water. We're going to substitute some polymer in place of that. That gives us a much stronger concrete, so we can make the orbs and spheres so that the cement is really thin and it's lightweight, but very durable.
We have prepped a very small orb just for the ease of working, and you'll see that I have covered it all but this one little spot here with pieces of a mesh tape, and it comes on a roll, and I like to cut them to where they have thinner corners so that when they overlap the rest of it, they adhere to a round ball a little better than a flat surface. But it's slightly sticky, so it does adhere to itself better than it adheres to something else. But this comes from just a big box store. I will tell you this, it is not in the concrete section, it is in the drywall section. But it very clearly will show you a picture of the label. It is for concrete, and it just provides sort of a bonding agent for the first coat of the concrete. Back to Vickie.
So before we start layering our concrete onto the ball with the mesh tape, we want to make a little slurry. We do that with just some polymer and cement. Have just a little bit of dry cement.
A slurry is really just a very, very thin concrete. It allows the first coat to adhere to the surface that we're trying to adhere the concrete to.
This gives it something to stick to.
It gives it something to stick to. I'll set the ball there for you and back away.
Because I am not known for my tidiness.
I'm not known for my tidiness either. We're working today on in the outdoor room because there is impending rain coming. Of course, there's been impending rain for the last 6 days, and it has yet to happen. But it did sprinkle a bit earlier, so I thought maybe they actually have it right.
We'll play it safe this time.
Yes.
So I'm just going to do like maybe that much section, and then we can add cement to it.
Perfect.
So, Terry, do you want to show them what we have going on here?
This is our materials, 3 to 1 combination, and we're going to mix water in with it, but we're going to use a lot of polymer because that is a better bonding agent for the thin coats that we're going to put on our garden sphere.
We should say that if you want to look for an exact recipe, the recipes that Terry and I have used over the years have gotten out of Sherry Warner Hunter's book, Concrete Ornamentation for the Garden. And it's easy to find, easy to look up the recipes. We're winging it a little bit on the exact amounts right here, but there are really good recipes there to be exact.
And this is the 3-to-1 here.
All right.
Okay. Let's mix the two together.
You always want to mix your dry ingredients first. So mix your sand and your cement together before you add any water. And feel free to wear gloves. Do as we say, not as we do.
Definitely. I think we've talked about the glove issue before, that I really like the feel of molding the concrete with my hands.
Yep, I have to have my hands in it.
And I'd rather clean them up and put my miracle cream on afterwards as opposed to wearing gloves.
A good note here, always have your bucket of water before you start mixing cement with your hands, or you'll not have anywhere to go with hands full of cement.
Let's get a little bit of water.
You want to let's put some polymer in first, and that way we know we've got enough polymer going.
Okay.
And then we go for our water.
Vickie knows actually what she's doing. Again, I'm a novice, a jack of all trades and a master of very few, if any, really.
Everything Terry touches gets beautiful, and so that's part of the fun in playing with concrete with Terry. We've made lots of things together over the years, and we've made lots of things on our own and then put them together over the years.
We used to have a little group called the Concretians. They were mainly friends of ours who wanted to learn to make bird baths or stepping stones, and we would have a little 2-day seminar that involved everybody bringing a wonderful lunch item and several bottles of wine.
There we go. And just a touch, really.
I'm going to let you do it. I don't want to mess up your feel for it.
We're going to go really light on the water and heavy on the polymer on this one, since it's our first round, and we want it to be able to stick. So we're going to give it good reason to stick with the polymer.
Now, the one thing about the polymer, I've been experimenting with growing moss on some of my orbs, and what I have found were the lightweight balls that I have used the polymer in the mix. The moss doesn't like it so well. It tends to repel water as opposed to taking on water like concrete does. So this ball, we will finish it like the 3rd or 4th coat. We're going to try something new and finish it with a pure concrete and water mixture with no polymer to see if that makes it a little bit more porous on the outside for the attachment of moss.
There you go. You can get your hands dirty. Here, I'll hold it.
This is so hard to do and socially distanced. Oh, that concrete feels so good.
Now, when you don't have time constraints, you'll want to fashion something so that you can set the ball down and really try to work the entire surface at once. And as you go, move it so that you get the whole thing covered.
And I'm only going to work on the area that she put the slurry on. Normally we would cover the entire ball with slurry, but in the interest of time, we want to give you the idea, and you just keep going with as many coats as you want to. Now, pretending as if this were the final coat. The final coat, you have a choice on the type of surface that you have, whether it be completely smooth or rough. A chip brush actually is great if you do want sort of a smoother type of feel.
You can also use a little slurry with your chip brush and it smooths it out a touch as well. Place sand is a lot finer than the paver sand, and that'll also get you a smoother surface. So it's just use the ingredients that work for what you want your end result to look like.
But just pretending, and I do like a few handprints and things like that in it. That, to me is the sign of truly homemade. We have a large ball here, and you see I can quite readily pick this up. Maybe 20 pounds, 25 pounds at the most, but it has survived outside for at least 8 or 9 years, I believe, is the age of this one.
Now, was that done with a yoga ball? With one of these?
This was done with a yoga ball. So you can just find a deal on exercise balls and make the ball any size that you want. We're doing a small one, as I say, just in the interest of time and being able to sort of move through it.
And if you're going to do a sphere, you'll want to leave some of that open instead of covering the entire ball. And then you let the air out of the ball. You do a layer of polymer fortified cement on the inside before finishing the outside. And the polymer will have it hold water. You don't want to let it freeze in the wintertime, but...
Now, what she's talking about is making an inverted ball that is actually a pond or a fountain by having a very large opening on one end of it. This one, we are going to make it a solid garden sphere. But the one other little trick that has helped me along the way is when you buy these balls at Kmart, Walmart, wherever, I find that they're easier to work with if you overinflate them. So just add a little bit of air to them. I think it makes it easier to work with and keep it really nice and round.
And bouncy.
And bouncy. Okay, that's sort of our show for today. We've got tons of projects going on. Right here, I'm working on building a deconstructed tree trunk table. And behind Vickie, you see I've got a little copper project that we'll probably show you at some point. But until then, this is Terry White, hoping that you have a great, great time designing your life.
Thanks for watching what Terry would like to call an inspirational tutorial. Try this at home or create your own method. Comment below this video and let us know how it worked. We would love to hear from you. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again soon.